Hi, I'm Mushki Naparstek, and I am Rabbi Shmuley's oldest daughter.
My name is Shterna Boteach, and I am number 3.
Number 3. Shouldn't you be number 1? In life, you got to try to be number 1.
Well, it's not her fault she was born
chronologically.
number 3.
I'm not faulting her. I'm just saying she should try to.
Okay, can you just tell us
leapfrog.
why you're wearing that?
Yeah. Well, if you're going to interview me about my life as your father, I think that you ought to know that I'm athletic and very accomplished. That my body is kind of a gift. That my monopack kind of is part of my rabbinic identity. And I'm also going for a bike ride right after this, because since you did not let me see the questions before, and since you are insisting it all be spontaneous, I think I'm going to have to, a lot of inner rage is going to build up, and I don't want to take it out in any unhealthy way. I'm going for a bike ride. And it's a beautiful day, and we don't
Sweat
get
it
beautiful
out.
days. And you guys know that I'm kind of the Lance Armstrong, but without the supplements, the real
Right.
thing.
Of course. All right, so we have a few questions for you. I think Shterna's
Yeah.
going to start.
I'll start. So you were married at 21 years old. Mommy was 19. Do you ever feel like you missed out on being young and wild and free?
No, honestly, because I was young and wild and free. In fact, I think you could be much more young and wild and free with a wife, with a spouse. We were crazy. I mean, mommy's pretty normal. I'm crazy, and I wanted a crazy life. We got married. We lived in New York for a couple of months. I needed a job. They offered me the job of being rabbi at Oxford University. Who the heck wanted to go across to England of all places? But you had to have a roof over your head, and we had a crazy life. Suddenly, 6 months into our marriage, I'm doing these big activities with students. Our house is filled with people. Mommy has a baby in February of that year. It was more than 9 months. Don't worry about it. And and hosting a lot of famous people, world leaders, and being part of a very young, dynamic, intellectual, and political, and religious life. It was crazy. Does crazy mean that you got to barf at a bar with total strangers? Does crazy mean that you got to bed a bunch of people in order to feel that you were experienced? You guys know that I've never talked about this with you guys. You guys know I've written books about sexuality and all this other stuff. You could be wild and crazy within marriage. I don't understand why the thought is that marriage is stifling, and that the earlier you marry, the more you're giving up in terms of adventure. I believe in the adventurous life. I'm an adrenaline junkie. I conduct Sabbath services dressed like this.
Yeah, but you had
I know,
kids
but-
right away, bills.
Yeah, and even so, and I raised you guys kind of crazy too. I never let you guys stagnate. I shoved you in an RV and took you all over North America, all the way to Alaska. We lived a crazy life. I don't think that family life has to be sedentary. I don't think it has to be settled. Did I give you guys a lot of instability? Probably, as a result. The adrenaline junkiness probably was transmitted by the DNA and by the lifestyle into you guys, and you exhibit a lot of the same kind of inability to sit still, with the exception of Mushki. Because it's interesting. Your
I
life-
enjoy stability.
I know, why is that? Because you were raised by me. Why? You go to sleep at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is when my day is just starting, 9 p.m.
That's why we never see each
I
other.
love the nights. I love, you have taken a conscious decision to break from the insanity of how you were raised. And I kind of respect that. You have beautiful,
Settle
stable
down.
Kind of.
kids.
Settle down.
But God, yawn,
Good.
Mushki, God almighty, life's, for the adventurous.
I won't judge you and you don't judge me. Just leave it that way.
Fair enough.
Okay, what do you know now that you wish you knew when you were my age or our age?
I wish I knew how much I would never know and how much I don't know. I wish that I didn't think that life was about pat answers and specific categories. I thought I knew how to parent perfectly. I really did. I was raised without my father around a lot of the time. Single mother who worked 2 jobs. I had kind of raised myself, so I didn't want you guys to have that. I wanted to be a presence in your life always. I wanted you to think back when you were older, and whatever complaints you would have against me, I wanted you to think, but he was always there. Because I was always there. Maybe you guys think I was there even too much. Shterna probably certainly feels that way.
No.
But I really thought that I knew how to parent. I knew that I studied Bible with you guys every night. I had family dinners with you almost always. If I went somewhere, I was invited to speak or debate, I took you with me, and I insisted on it, and it became like a pain for all these organizations. They knew if they invited me, I came with a troop. And amidst all of that, I still think I made a lot of mistakes by thinking that I knew it all. I may have overparented. I think Shterna might certainly feel that way.
No, but so do you suggest that at our age we should have that attitude that we don't know any concrete answers?
I think you have to just... I was kind of reacting to my own childhood. I wanted to do a little bit of the opposite of what had happened with me. I wish I had indulged you guys more in friendships. I always felt the family was more important than friendships.
It's true.
To the point where I kind of like undermined your whole social life. Guys, I wanted the family to do everything together.
Siblings are my best friends.
You know, like in summer, it was only later that I sent you guys to summer camps and to stay overnight camps. Before that, I thought I was a camp counselor. My job was shove you in an RV, spend 4-5 weeks on the road, and I was the camp counselor.
You don't
I had to do
regret
activities. I don't regret those beautiful moments, but I do want to see you guys fully integrated with a social life. Whereas what I see is that you guys are so close as siblings because of how you were raised, that can be limiting. You guys are, I think, as siblings, it's the most beautiful thing to be close to your brothers and sisters. I think you guys might be too close.
No such thing. All right, next question.
You guys are supposed to say something like, God, Tati, that's like brilliant.
Yeah,
We've heard it so many times.
We're so used to your genius.
I think we said it last
Smart.
time. All right, just ask your question.
We've become immune to your genius. So you're a super ambitious guy. Like nothing's ever enough for you. I want to know theoretically, when will you be satisfied professionally?
Wow, what a good question. I don't, believe it or not, strange as it may sound, I don't see myself as ambitious. So you're going to say, oh, what a liar you are. And I'm being very honest in this. No, because for me, ambition means you'll trample on anything to get ahead, and all you think about is getting ahead. I want to live by certain principles and values. I am ambitious in living by those values. I don't say that to sound like a saint. I don't even believe in saints. I think they're a total bore. I think they're monolithic, way too righteous and boring. But there are principles and convictions that I believe in, and I'm ambitious for those, to live by those. The ambitious person will compromise anything, reinvent themselves in order just to get ahead. They'll suck up to a boss, they'll suck up to the public. It's the political class that we've come to hate in America. We want to vomit when they speak because we know that they're saying what we want to hear as opposed to what they believe. So in that sense, I don't think of myself as ambitious. I think what is true, like that's my helicopter about to come and pick me up right now. I think what is true is that I don't want to waste my life. I want to squeeze the lemon to its last drop. I want to maximize my potential. I hate wasting time. I hate if there's any fiber in me that remains underdeveloped. Whatever skill or talent God gave me, and there's so many, it's innumerable.
So will you ever be satisfied?
We can't even count. No, I want to develop my potential. That's true. And I've impressed that upon you guys. I hate wasted potential. I love that beautiful verse in the Bible that says, and Abraham was elderly, advanced in days. And I always say to you guys, quoting from the Talmud, it doesn't say he was advanced in years. Most people say I'm 37 years old, I'm 50 years old. He counted his life by his days. He never wasted a day. That's cool. Will I ever be satisfied? No. I'm not the satisfied kind of person. I think in terms of your mother, that must be a challenge for her, living with a husband who's constantly pushing himself and who is insatiable to accomplish certain things. And she's been an incredible, I hate the word partner, it's too commercial, it's not a romantic. She's been an incredible soulmate in sharing that journey. I've often thought to myself that to be the spouse of someone who is insatiable can always be challenging, because it's almost like you can never just sit and rest on your laurels and be happy with what you have. I don't mean materially. I want to achieve things for the Jewish people, for humanity, for values. And maybe mommy would have preferred, I don't know, a quieter life with a white picket fence. I think now she probably became addicted, another adrenaline junkie in the family, because she's just used to this life that we've shared. Next week will be 28 years, God willing.
So when do you find peace in your life? Where do you find that? With that sense of drive?
Yeah, I'm kind of confused about peace. On the one hand, it's the highest Jewish ideal, and it's wonderful to see people getting along, but peace is also incredibly boring when you think about it. No one really writes about peace. No one is ever interested in peace. They hold it out as an ideal, kind of ahead of you, that humanity should strive for. And Judaism says the highest ideal is peace. And yet conflict is what people seem to be most interested in, and conflict makes the news and not peace. So what does peace even mean? For me, peace is not the absence. For me, peace is not the absence of conflict, because there can be healthy conflict. I don't want to live in China where there's peace politically because there's only one party. I don't want to live in Iran where there's domestic peace because they impose their will on everybody. I'm prepared to accept the circus-like atmosphere of American politics, two parties. Peace is where there is tension, healthy tension, respectful tension that leads to creativity. So your definition of peace, of Tati, just like stop having all this inner turmoil. No, I need some of that inner turmoil to remain creative. I don't want to become some sheep or some, all these cows chewing their cud. They have peace. They're not complex. I haven't seen cows going for therapy. I haven't seen them divorcing or anything. I haven't seen them they'll occasionally butt heads, but as long as they have grass to eat, they're happy. I don't want to be that. I think peace is accepting the dynamic tension that exists in human endeavor, but without disrespecting each other. Accepting that a bird needs two wings, a right wing and a left wing, opposites to have propulsion. There has to be antithetical propulsion. And that for me is peace.
Name a female historical role model that you would like your daughters to look up to.
Oh, you guys asked me something like that. There had to be. My daughters are Orthodox Jewish feminists. What does that even mean? A lot of people see that as a contradiction, but I knew this kind of question was coming. I would have said someone like Golda Meir, who is Israel's only female prime minister, and America hasn't even had a female president yet. The problem is that she blew it in the 1973 Yom Kippur War. She was prepared to see Israeli soldiers die just so that she wouldn't initiate the conflict that she knew was coming. She was certain it was coming, but she didn't want to be the aggressor. So she's not a hero to me anymore. I love Devorah in the Bible, who is your mother's namesake, Debbie Devorah, because she was a woman warrior. The placid, docile woman is not what I think you have to be. When she had to go and fight, she went and fought as a woman. I love, in a weird kind of way, there's King David had Bathsheba as a wife. Very controversial marriage. Started in not the best way. I don't look up to her, except for one thing she did at the end. She fought for her son's right to kingship, and she pleaded before the king, and she was prepared to risk all. But more than anyone else, I respect Esther. I love Esther is the great role model. This woman who has money and beauty and brains, and she risks it all, prepared to forfeit it all, to fight against the genocide, to stand up for her people. She's incredible, and so underestimated by history. It's quite remarkable that most people kind of know the story. I don't mean Orthodox Jews who read the story on Purim, but I mean the non-Jewish world that reads the Hebrew Bible. They don't know a lot about Esther. She's a great role model. And I would say finally, the women who fought in the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, in that incredible film, Mushki, you had us all watch.
Uprising, you should all watch it.
The women who fought in the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, and they were vital and central. The Warsaw Ghetto Uprising was equal men and women, and how they were murdered and tortured, but how they fought for freedom and for liberty and for their Jewishness, human rights. They're incredible. Fighters is what I would say should be your role models.
Amen. Was that all the questions?
Okay, last question. Maybe you don't have a specific one, but what is one of your happiest moments in your life?
It's interesting that you asked that. You would think that it would be some of the bigger moments we had as a family, where we met interesting people or did large events, because you know that I organize large events.
I wouldn't think that.
Or you guys worked on TV shows that I hosted that were national TV shows. I don't know how I got you guys to work on those shows, as running around as interns and making me coffee. But no, I remember once when we were walking in Washington D.C. It was a spring day like today.
Cherry blossoms.
And we went to see the cherry blossoms, which you guys know I love. You guys know I love nature, and I tried to immerse you in nature.
Yeah, we know.
Mushki has recoiled from that completely.
No, she goes to.
And I saw you guys like laughing. I was walking with a wife that I love by my side. My kids were in front of me. You guys were all younger. The sky was blue. The cherry blossoms were out, and I just looked at the scene and I said, "This is as good as it gets. Life has no happier moments." And I've had that a few times where I've just looked around, and I haven't been thinking about a phone call I had to make, or I haven't felt any kind of pressure. That's why I love the Jewish Sabbath. When all that electronic interference is actually prescribed, it's forbidden. And I've looked around, saw my kids playing, or some of the baseball games we had on our front lawn, and I said to myself, this is as good as it gets. When your kids are happy to be around you, and you feel the companionship of your wife. And I can't think of happy moments where if my wife was not present, if your mother was not present, if her companionship was not there. I don't even mean that we had to be interacting. I just feel stronger and more secure when she's in my presence. I feel more sure of myself. Those have been by far the happiest moments. Reading to your littlest siblings, it's such an incredible thing. I'm going to turn 50 in a few months. You wouldn't know it. You probably think I'm like 25. Does that surprise you guys that your father's turning 50? You probably can't believe it, right? A body of maybe even like a 20-year-old, if you ask me.
Just don't stand up for the camera. Stay seated.
What, you want me to show off this giant muscle here?
I just don't want people to be jealous.
Yeah, I don't want to emasculate.
No traumatizing.
I don't want to emasculate any of the men. But you see my eyes, you know I'm telling the truth. When I read, it's an amazing thing for parents in their late 40s to have young children. So we have you, Mushki, and you're 27. And we have a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old, and they still live with us. Everyone else is kind of more or less at the house. And I read the kids, I try to read them bedtime stories. Last night I bought them sugar cane on the way home at a Whole Foods. And then I woke them up, irresponsible as always. I've done all these irresponsible things, but I woke them up and I said, I got you guys sugar cane. They were so excited, and we got the sugar cane. Of course they were tired the next morning. Maybe they didn't do as well at school today, I don't know. But I love those surprises and those treats. Those are my happiest moments, seeing my kids happy and feeling just a joy in being a father, and that really has been my greatest joy. It's the reason why I loved the idea. Ariane Huffington wrote to me and said, Shmuley, you should do one of these videos with your daughters, and I jumped at the opportunity. We only got that email like 3 days ago, and I thought,
Next time we should do it with all 6 daughters.
Yeah.
well, at your wedding, what I loved, the best part of your wedding, which was one of my truly happy moments, that was one of my most glorious moments. I loved seeing you as a bride. I really did. In fact, I walk on a treadmill in the morning. I used to play this like special song about from the Bible about Kol Chasam Kol Kala, the sound of a bridegroom, the sound of a bride.
You would cry.
And I would tears streaming down my cheeks, and I saw you as a bride. But the happiest moment at your wedding, it wasn't the ceremony, which was beautiful. It wasn't seeing you in your beautiful white dress. It was when we had this divide of men and women dancing separately in an Orthodox Jewish wedding. And I crossed over, broke the rules, as always, and took all my 6 daughters and danced with them. Little Chatiba, who was probably 3 at the time.
Yeah.
And that was the best moment of the
That was a
wedding.
good moment.
Yeah.
Hope we'll have another one soon, God willing. It's a
No
shame.
pressure.